You have these HVAC songs, which are not just like for entertainment. Like I get entertainment from them, but you actually explain things.
I try to put my life inside of the content. Everything you guys see right now, all the songs, I made them in like 2 days.
Okay.
I wrote all of them in like 2 days. And at first I'm like, I don't know about this. This is kind of nerdy. This is a little nerdy. I don't know. I just kind of like this. I was working and then my phone just started blowing up. I was like, bro, what's going on? What's happening? I looked at it and I'm like, what the heck? People actually like this? What the heck?
That's awesome, dude.
So, my mom always says that hunger never knocks on a tradesman's door. So the more knowledge that you have, the more money you will make. I got into trade because my uncle told me he made $70 an hour. So I'm going to make $70 an hour. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Let's zoom out for a second.
Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. I'm your host, Adrian, and I'm an HVAC business owner here in South Texas. Plenty of good conversations to be had with good people and a lot of good stories that maybe you would relate to. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, any other location, please leave us a review. We hope to earn those 5 stars, and I really have fun doing this podcast. I appreciate everybody that watches or listens and makes this what it is. I also want to thank our sponsors that help keep this thing going. Jobber is our favorite CRM. I've tried different ones until finding Jobber that kind of controls the chaos that it is running a business and still being in the field and trying to get all the billing, quoting, submitting everything that you need to do outside of the field. And with Jobber, we do our maintenance contracts, we do our invoicing, our quoting, following up with customers to get reviews. That has helped our business a lot. So check out Jobber for yourself, see if it helps your business. You get a 2-week free trial and a special discount if you use the link down below. Vito Pro Pack is also a supporter, and I can tell you right now, even though I see a bunch of competitors coming into the field, they are still hands down the best tool bags that you can buy. You won't want to use any other tool bag. And the thing is, they have so many products now that you can find the one that is perfect for you. So make sure to check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com. True Tech Tools has a lot of their stuff as well. Go check out their website to make sure that you can find the perfect bag for yourself. You won't regret it. Diversitech is probably in a lot of y'all's vans. I have almost something from all of those brands in my van ever since we've started. Packard is a big one for us as far as parts. They usually have something that we would need on a day-to-day basis. They are your one-stop shop for everything HVAC, and they have you covered for your everyday HVAC needs. Today's episode is also brought to you by Resideo. Pro IQ Services is your edge on every customer call. It's available on Honeywell Home smart thermostats and designed to help HVAC pros turn everyday installs and customer calls into lasting business relationships. From branded visibility and remote configuration and controlled custom system alerts, it's a full-service device that helps pros streamline labor, increase customer loyalty, and generate leads. For more information, please check out resideo.com/proiq. All right, we got HVAC Dean on the scene, man. What's up?
Sir, back on the scene. What's good, bro?
Real quick, I love your stuff. I saw you, I think I saw you on TikTok. I know you're doing Instagram now. Is there any other platform that you do?
YouTube. Transitioning over to YouTube now. So we're going to do that now.
Is that new? Oh, you're doing like actual videos, right?
Yeah, like on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I did YouTube Shorts, and now we're doing full-size YouTube videos, like in the life, like having people see in the field as well.
Like what it's like. Those are always the good videos.
Yeah.
But big fan. Your freaking songs, just I could not stop listening to them. They were so good and so funny and just really relatable, and that's kind of where I found you. I think was like the songs that you were putting out, and I'm like, who is this kid? So very glad that you make some time.
Appreciate that, bro.
Time to be on, man.
No, I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me here. Because I also see your stuff too. Because when I'm like scrolling through the feed, like I see like a whole bunch of other technicians on the platform as well. Because there's one, I think it's King of Cold podcast, or
I just ran into them too.
HVAC, but I see like different podcasts, and I saw yours come up too, and yours come up a lot frequently because 'cause I see like either people from young to old, they're
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
field, in between. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Because not a lot
Yeah,
of
man.
us get the chance to actually talk to each other because we're all in different parts of the world, but social media like brings us all together, which is pretty cool to see.
That's the coolest part. That's probably why I keep doing this and why I do the podcast is more so being able, because when else can I just sit down and talk with, other guys doing the
Yeah.
same kind of work, kind of mindset, same, work ethic. And for the most part, we enjoy what we do, right?
No, for the most part, but
For the
yeah.
most part, there's
Yeah.
days, right, where you kind of question yourself.
No, 1,000%. Where it's like, dang, I don't feel like I don't want to be here right now, but
I
when you
had
push
one of
it
those.
through, yeah.
I had one of those weeks
Yeah. It's
because
like ups and downs, it's in waves.
yeah, well, definitely. And you had asked me how I was going. Like we're in Texas, so it's hot all the time. So even if it
Yeah.
slows down a little bit, I also do refrigeration, so that kind of helps me like stay busy all year. And our
Mm.
hot side, which is the cooking equipment, those guys have been slammed with work all year. We mostly do restaurants, hospitals, things like that.
Dang.
And
Yes.
it's just because you had asked me how it went, how it was going, and it's busy, but like we have a crew now, and that kind of stress and work is very
Mm.
different. Trying to manage it and make sure everything's going good because I'm so used to doing everything and doing it my way, doing it the right way, which that was one of the best parts about going into like business for ourselves is like I get to do everything on my own. I don't have anybody else telling me what I can and
Mm.
can't do, rushing me, anything like that. But now I'm trying to manage, some other
Yeah.
guys, trying to see how they're doing and training and all this other stuff. So that's a whole other headache. So even if I'm not in the field, hurting my body, I'm over here just mentally like stressing out with, all the work and the guys.
That was one thing also because I'm not a business owner, but I know there's like people in school that they're being sold this dream, like, yeah, get in school, you get out, own your business, and you make all this money. What's like the reality of that?
Oh, I thought you were going to give
In your
us,
point of view.
I thought you were going to give us some knowledge here.
Ah, oh, man, I'm trying to be there one day,
So
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone else.
So
Yeah,
like, well, let's start off with maybe introducing yourself real quick, like who you are and what do you do so I can
yeah,
have a better idea.
got you. My name is Dean. I'm from New York City. Recently moved to South Florida. Here
Oh, that's a
for
big change.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Big change. I'm used to it now, like with the heat and everything. Moved from New York to South Florida. New York right now, very expensive. Here with my family though. Still communicate with my peoples in New York though. But Florida is like when it comes to cooling, this is the state for it from what I'm seeing, from what I'm experiencing.
I was going to say, because
So
anybody in Florida understands Texas. Like it's one and the same,
yeah,
right? The humidity, the heat, all that stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, so now you kind of see that coming from New York where it's like the opposite, basically.
No, like 100% the opposite, where you deal with like very, very colder times and then you deal with hot times, but it's not as hot as like Texas and Florida because that humidity kicks. It kicks.
So, did you start doing HVAC in New York, or is that something you picked up here?
So when I was in New York, I was working like odd jobs. I was working at restaurants, Home Depot. I was doing a whole bunch of different jobs. This is like right after I left high school or during high school, I was working restaurant jobs. After I left high school, I was still doing these odd jobs. I'm like, dang, bro, I can't keep going from this job to this job. There's no growth. It's just a plateau. It's just going like this.
No
So
matter what they
there's,
tell you,
yeah.
that always ends up being the case.
Yeah. So I have tradesmen already in my family. Like this, my dad is a mechanic, car mechanic. I have uncles that are electricians and they also have trades as well. But nobody has done like HVAC. Everybody has like different, like plumbers. We have, like I said, in my
Oh,
family, we
okay.
have a whole branch of tradesmen. So I was looking at these different trades and I'm like, I get bored really fast. So I'm like, if I do this one thing too long, I know I'm going to get bored. So then I looked into HVAC and it's literally all of them in one. And that's what caught my attention. So at 17, I went to a college program for 2 years, but I didn't finish the 2 years because COVID happened. And then I lost
Mm.
interest again because I got bored. So I dropped out of that. And the class was boring as hell. It was one of those come in, textbook, barely any hands on. I was just very bored. So I didn't take any interest in it. Fast forward, I moved to Florida. This was in 2021 after COVID, like right after like they said everybody could go outside again.
Yeah.
And then I was working another restaurant job and it was the same mindset. I was like, I can't keep doing this restaurant thing. Whatever money I had, I applied for a loan, added whatever money I had onto that, did a course for HVAC, graduated, and I was at a residential company for 4 months and then they fired me because I was I was an apprentice and they fired me because apparently they wanted by after around that 4 month mark, they wanted me to be learning all like they wanted me to basically do more on installs. And I'm like, bro, I'm only 4 months in. I just got out of school. I can't really everybody's learning is kind of different. But after that, I
Yeah.
went back to odd jobs again. And I went to a bad residential company that was like scamming people, as in like you go into somebody's house and you try to pick apart this whole unit in a bad way though. But you put fear into the company, like, oh, this is bad. Like this is gonna fail. This is very bad for your system. Basically trying to instill fear into them. And there's a lot of
Hmm.
companies like that in South Florida where they do that type of sales tactic of instilling fear. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Like I was like, I need another company. Like, please. Like I was praying. I was down bad until I found a commercial company that I'm working for now. I've been working for them for years. And I was at a point where I was like, bro, I need something to work. Like, I just need one opportunity to just work. Cause I was trying and trying and trying, job after job, job after job. And I was applying everywhere. I was getting interviews to different places and I still wasn't getting a call back to get hired until
Yeah.
this one job, found it, commercial company. And I basically harassed my supervisor like every week or every day, telling him, hey, please give me a job, bro. I need this. So when he said, hey, we could set up the interview, I was still working for the scam residential company at this time. So when it was time for the interview, the scam residential company, we always have a sales meeting to come in and practice the spill and whatever it is. So I took the work van and I parked across the street from the company that I'm working for now. I changed from my technician clothes into business attire, walked across the street, banged out the interview. He said, hey, when can you start? I said, I can start today or tomorrow. Pick one. He
Yeah.
said,
Just
okay, well,
please.
so he was like, all right, come in next week. Cause this was a Friday. So he said, come in next week, which was a Monday. And I was like, all right, cool. Went back to the truck, changed into the technician uniform, drove to the job. And I said, this is my last day here. Give me the key.
You went back to work in a much better mood.
Way better move, bro.
Man, that's crazy. Because I was going to ask you if you had like jumped around a bit or anything like that, and I've heard the
They're on
same
a
thing
lot.
from those kinds of companies. Because I know another guy that actually started a business because he was tired of working for a company like that. Like I think one of the last straws for him was him and I guess the lead tech going in and doing those tactics, and it was an old lady and taking advantage, and the customer even said like, I can't even afford this,
Mm.
like, and they push, financing and all that other stuff. They find a way, right, any way to get a sale. And he's
Yeah,
like, and he said it was something similar, like she didn't need it, they just pushed it, right? And there's a lot of companies out there like that, unfortunately. So when they were leaving in the van, the lead tech jumped in. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get my bonus and this and that. And I don't know what. And he's like, you know what? That's the day that I quit. And then he went to go start his own thing. So, I mean, you've had a little bit of experience of both. There is, I mean, obviously a bad stigma, but like a lot of technicians, because you're part of that younger group, right? Like we
yeah,
mentioned earlier, there's a lot of them on social media now. They get a bad rap too, the younger guys, because they can't hack it, or people say they can't hack it, right? But then I'm like, how are you treating them, right? Because if you got companies like that with bad work environments, that also leads to some guys just dropping out, right? So
exactly.
that's not a great place to work at, and I'm glad that it worked out for you. And now you're doing commercial.
Thank
Yeah.
God, bro.
Is it like a strictly like an AC company that you work for now?
Yeah, so we don't do refrigeration. It's strictly commercial air conditioning. Now, we do a little bit of residential, but only for like a selected few people, but
Okay.
it's predominantly commercial,
That's awesome, man.
commercial mostly.
And night and day also from residential to commercial.
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't do it, bro.
are you
Yeah.
on the side of like, do you like to be around? Because some people just like to be with the homeowner and chop it up. Some people prefer commercial where they can be by themselves and kind of work on the rooftop.
So I'm a hybrid. So naturally, I'm an introvert and an
Okay.
extrovert depending on the situation. When it came to residential, my time in residential, I didn't really mind talking to the homeowner or getting friendly with them. However, whenever things get stressful though, I don't want them to talk to me. I don't want anybody because
I'm
when you're
I'm
on
the
a
same
call,
way because even with one of my new guys, right? I'm like, there's some calls where I'm just stressed out. It's better if you don't ride along with me, go with the other tech.
yeah. So with that, I know like with residential is more personal on a personal basis. Switching over to commercial, it was kind of a lot easier when it came to talking to people because when I was diagnosing systems in residential, I'd be like, okay, it's a capacitor, is this much. It's like, oh my gosh, is there a way you could bring that price down, blah, blah, blah. But then with commercial, which shocked me, I'm like, okay, it's this part and it's this much if the office even tells you the price or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool. Just send a quote. I'll sign it off. I'm like, wow, that's a different change because there's nobody like fighting the price no more.
Yeah, it's very
But
different. You do have to have like I guess different mindsets for that, right? Like,
yeah,
and that's why I think residential is tough in its own way because I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it. And you're in somebody's home, you're dealing with people that have different sorts of incomes and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
that's always something you have to think about. Now, you should still
At some
take care of
point,
the
yeah.
yeah, still take care of the
But
customer, still offer what you can and see what they can afford, but commercial now, before COVID, we were doing great, but it was just me and my dad, and then my brother came along, right? So like we didn't have to
right.
spend a lot on payroll and all that kind of stuff. And we were making so much because it was exactly that. It was like approved, just do it, just fix it, this and that. COVID kind of messed things up where now there's like budgets, but it has to be like a crazy amount for it to get rejected or they hold off on it, right? So for the most part, I think everything's bounced back. Well, it's a different responsibility. Like I was mentioning, residential, you're in somebody's home, somebody's income. Commercial, there's not really that much stress on the money wise, but like product wise, or you know, I work in restaurants. If their lobby or dining is hot and the customers don't want to eat there, they're losing money, right? So there's
Yeah.
different responsibilities when you do commercial because you're taking care of a building that has product or, offers comfort to something, right? A hospital or whatever it
No,
is.
100%. And sometimes you got to send people home too or they have to start sending people home when it gets too hot and they don't really want to deal with that because some people can't work from home. They both have their pros and cons. They both have their pros and cons, but I prefer commercial. A lot of people ask like what I prefer only
Yeah.
because commercial is like a more the knowledge that you get from residential is only so limited, in my opinion. Commercial pushes past that because you're dealing with like more high efficiency equipment, DOAS units, outside air units, more units that have more moving parts. You're not only learning what you already have in residential, but when you cross that bridge to commercial, it's like a whole different world. It's a completely different world. There's more creativity when it comes to diagnosing. You can't just look at a problem from one side or one angle. You have
Hmm.
to like sometimes think outside of the box. Cause like you said, with humidity in Florida, I'm not going to say majority, but a good amount of my service calls are humidity based. People saying, okay, it's cooling, but it doesn't feel right.
Oh
I
yeah.
have to start putting on a different hat. It's not just air. It's not just I come in and fix it. I have to like think outside of the
Which
box.
is which is crazy. Yeah, because like, and I make fun of my buddy Jake. He's in Florida too, cooling with Kraus. And
Shout out Jake. Wait, really?
yeah.
That's crazy. I actually follow his page.
Oh yeah. I want
Yeah.
to say he's around the Orlando area or something, or not too far from there. And I always he jokes about it too. Like he's always changing a blower motor or a capacitor, right? Like those are common residential calls, right? And then the
Yeah.
customer might not want much else done, even if they need like, let's say like a duct cleaning or whatever it is. But when you get to like commercial, that reminds me because in those, like I like the tough calls, but sometimes they're just like, they drive you nuts because the humidity one
Yeah.
is a big one and it's hard to
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to figure out, but it's even harder to explain that to your customer because they're like exactly what and I've said this before, exactly what you said. It's like it's cooling, but it still feels like ugly in here, right? Or the vents. I get a lot of calls for the vents are sweating or whatever it is, and it's moisture. It's like you got a makeup air that you got to fix, or the actual makeup on the unit, because sometimes I don't even have a makeup air unit, and you got to figure out, you got to get creative. There's been tons of them, and I
Yeah.
constantly have to say it in my videos, like customer either didn't have something that like a proper exhaust and makeup air, and we had to get creative with whatever the dampers that they have on the unit, or, customer didn't want to pay for this or that. Like they don't like paying for VFDs on carrier units, and we have to bypass them all the time. So you do have to get creative and figure things out. But as long as you know your basics and how things work, I think the most important thing is like understand how that refrigeration cycle works, everything in between, what the compressor does, what it, it's supposed to do, is not supposed to do. And you can figure anything out in the commercial
I'm
space
so happy you said that
or anything like that,
about
because
the basics.
yeah. And
Yeah.
because I have guys that I'm training right now. So, I mean, you asked me earlier, like how that goes. So yes, one thing that does bother me a little bit, you see social media, you see a lot of the good stuff, right? You see a lot of people, there's people that coach or whatever, and they try to tell you, and I just ran into videos. I need to finish watching it. It's like, you're promised 6 figures, you're promised whatever it is. And right now, trades and HVAC are kind of like trending because everybody's telling you AI can't replace HVAC. AI this. It's just the thing that's in right now. That's what they
Yeah.
feed you. And it's like it's not all good, right? You start, I'm sure when you went to commercial, you started over, right? Because you didn't know, I mean, for one, you didn't know commercial, but you went to a different
Yeah.
company altogether, right? So that's
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
I want people to understand, right? Like when you go to the trades, and you actually posed a good example here because you invested in yourself to try to go to school and to figure something out because you were tired of, these other jobs that you had. Getting into the trade is not like a money maker when you start your first year. You're probably not going to make much. It's an
Yeah.
investment so that you can have that career going forward. So I know there's a lot of like 6 figures, this and that. I have a lot of kids that ask me too, like, what's the starting pay? And I'm like, if you have that mindset, it's not going to work out. If you're expecting to get rich overnight, just because there is a demand in the HVAC trade, that's not how it works. You start not minimum wage, but you start very low and then you work your way up. You got to show that you know stuff.
That's true. And I'm so happy that you said that too, bro, because there's been apprentices that my company gets that get changed. Well, we release them because they're bad, but they come in the trade with the mindset, like you said, oh, somebody told me they make this much amount of money. This guy, I got in the trade because my uncle told me he made $70 an hour. So I'm going to make $70 an hour. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Let's zoom out for a second. If I was your boss, why would I pay you $70 an hour? What do you know? What skills do you have? What experience do you have for me to be paying you $70 an hour? It's achievable. It is achievable. You could make a lot of money. The pay ceiling is like really high in HVAC. But the thing is, you have to work your way up. That's with any job. And people don't understand that. It's like, you're not going to put a server on the restaurant floor to go serve customers if he has no communication skills, if he doesn't know the menu, if he doesn't know the drink menu. Why would I put somebody random to go serve people if he doesn't know these things? And it's the same thing with this. You have to go home, study, because the self-studying is also a big part of this too. People just think they could just wing it out there and not get that next chapter. Get that education.
So you don't have to go to trade school, but it is a nice start so that you're not lost out in the field, right? Like, how to hook up your gauges and how to, the proper, identifying components and compressors, motors, like all that. And that's what I think trade school helps you with. Now, I had hands-on, so I got to learn brazing and everything else. Like, you get your basic skills there, but it doesn't stop there. Like, once you finish school, like, you go get a job. The only way, and the common thing that I hear, the reoccurring theme, is like learning more after work on your free time. It's a lot easier now because back in my day, I've done this like 19, 20 years now. There was no internet, there was no social media, there was no YouTube. So you had to hunt down manuals and take classes and all that kind of stuff. It's a little easier now. Everything's like a webinar. Everything is on YouTube. You can kind of just soak it in. So, especially now, and I'm in the position now of hiring, like there are certain qualities that we look for. Like, are you going to learn? Are you going to make the same mistake twice? Are you going to, be coachable? That was a big theme with one of my episodes a while back. Like, cause we were talking about sports. I'm like, yeah, it's like HVAC. You got to be coachable, right? You got to take criticism, and I got to correct some of the stuff that you do there. If I'm training you and I want to see how you respond and how you deal with it, dealing with pressure and dealing with, just being out in the field, right? It's a whole different animal. And I look at qualities. So I've seen it right now with some of the guys that we have. So if somebody's taking a little longer to learn, all right, like, you're going to stay on that helper salary, right, until you kind of pick it up, and we're going to try to help you get there because there's no reason to keep you down. Like, we want you to succeed, but it's not and I forgot who I mentioned this with, but it's not like we don't pay you a lot at first because of what you could become. We pay you based on what you know, right? So you should have that mindset of like, not that you should be making so much money, but you're going to earn it. So once you get in and
Exactly.
you show yourself, that's where that comes into play, because the other guys that we have never did HVAC before, but super good at learning and looking up videos and talking to tech support. And now they're running calls. So yeah, they got a nice pay raise because they earned it.
That's how it should be. I'm I'm gonna be honest with you, like blue collar work, it will be like people coming into this, I would generally say this is like a real man job. Like you actually have to put into work. You actually have to get your hands dirty. You're not going to be out there and it's going to be sunshine and rainbow. Some days, I'm not going to say it's like a war, but some days it is easier. You're going to go in. It's going to be the most easiest day to breeze. But other days, you're going to have to really bust. I could curse on here or just I could say,
Yeah, you're good.
okay, you have to bust your ass. You got to bust your ass sometimes. And we've all been there, especially with apprentices starting. Some apprentices, they might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying this guy's tools. I got to get this. I got to get that. I got to be moving stuff all the way around. This guy's getting paid X and I'm getting paid chump change, this and that. But take it as a time to just soak up all that knowledge. One day you will be in that guy's position. The way you're feeling right now, we've all felt that way. Every single one of us have felt that way. Like, oh my gosh, I hate this lead tech. Sometimes you love your lead tech. Sometimes you love your lead
Yeah.
tech. I'm not saying every lead tech is a jerk. All that experience matters in the end, because when he tells you to grab this for him, then you're learning, okay, why is he grabbing this tool? What is he using this for? Let me go home and do more research on different process of how to put in a condenser, because I see my lead tech put in a condenser this way, but I know there's other ways to do it. Maybe a way that I like that's a lot quicker, because like you said, we are like super blessed. My generation is so blessed because we could go online and just, okay, if we're stuck on a call, if we don't know how to do something, it's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok. There's so much knowledge out there. We don't even need a textbook anymore. Our phones are like supercomputers. We could Google anything and everything. So there's just no reason to be stuck in like one state or one part of your life. You can keep elevating, because like you said, there's school is expensive. I'll be honest with you. I had to pay the loan. I kind of wish I didn't, but it's paid off, which is a good thing. But if you don't have the money for school, there's other things you could do. There's other courses you could take that are free, and you could also still get your knowledge online to help you in the trade. So the knowledge part is the biggest part. And when I first started, I told myself I'm going to try to learn as much as I can, because I saw it in this way. Like once you know it, you'll never forget it when it
Oh
comes
yeah.
to anything. Yeah. Like once it's in here, it's just hard to forget. I'm not going to know everything. There's still stuff that I still have to do research on, but knowledge really does carry you far in this field. Like it makes you run the
And
distance compared to anybody else.
the main reason I would tell somebody to try a trade is not you're going to make $1 million or whatever, but it's because if you learn a skill, you have that for the rest of your life. Like that can't be taken away. Like you learning HVAC cannot be taken away. You can go get another job, start a business, and even in HVAC, you can be something. You can be a manager. You can work at a parts supply house. You can work in manufacturing. You can work in tech support. You can take a lot of avenues in this space. You don't have to be turning wrenches, although for me, that's what I would much rather be doing. Like the other day, I was scheduled my day, had a call to go out to, and just trying to enjoy my drive. And then my phone started ringing like crazy, dealing with managers and all the business side stuff. And I was like, I really wish I didn't have to do that part. I just want to go work. So, I mean, some people like actually just getting their hands dirty and fixing things, and that's what I like too, and that's why I like to trade. And I'm just trying to transition into that business side. So it is lucrative. It is, and I always tell people like everybody's success is different. Everybody views it differently. Like
Yes.
how much money do you need to make to live comfortably is different from the next person. So I don't make a killing, but I make enough to be comfortable, and I have my weekends off and all that kind of stuff. I'm happy there, right? So also like from an employee to a business owner, I know some guys see like their boss and they're like, oh, they have all this money in the world. They have all this and that, right? And it's like, we're figuring out how much we have to, like our expenses and stuff, right? So like, hey, I got payroll, I got taxes on that, I got insurance for everybody and the vans and everything that goes into it. There's all these expenses. So like a bit from a business standpoint, you have to make a lot just to get your guys paid. And that was our issue in the beginning, was trying to keep up with payroll. So now I think we're in a much better spot, but that's a learning experience. And that's something that employees might not look at. And now I will say there's some business owners that just give off the wrong vibes. They're out there in their Lamborghinis and all this other stuff. So that's a whole different story. But like, I don't live that kind of life. We are a small business.
Always got to live below your means. And I was also gonna ask that. So super quick, right? You were in like as an employee before you went to the manager owner position. No, you just went straight to ownership.
Well, kind of. So my dad used to be an electrician, and then he went to this company, gave him an opportunity to learn food service. So that's where he learned to fix ovens and steamers and fryers. And he made that company very wealthy. It's a big company here, and they wanted him to be like supervisor and do more manager stuff, and he didn't like it. Something happened, and they said they fired him. He said he quit. It was one of those arguments. And then he's like, you know what? Because he had already put into position that he wanted his own business. So he had already done like some of the legal stuff. We had made business cards, and he was like thinking about it. And once that happened, he just went and started it because he had connections. He had already networked, made so many friends. So when he started that, I didn't help him in the field. I helped him advertising, like business cards, the uniforms, the lettering on the van, trying to figure out all that stuff, the logos. So that's how I started, because I was really good with computers, and I was working at a at the Sam's Club.
Yeah, the hopeful kind of.
So that's where I was recalling when you said that you worked these odd end jobs and like you plateau, right? That's where I worked. And I was supposed to be they were hiring for a helper in the grocery section. So I had two old guys, and it was me and another kid that were supposed to be the helpers, right? We were supposed to learn and gradually get into it. They took those old guys out. I guess they had a shortage of people like in another department. And then that other kid that I was with, he was going to school and I wasn't. So he never really worked. So guess who ran that damn grocery section the whole time, not knowing anything. And it's one of the busier parts of that store, throwing out the cardboard and restocking and dealing with customers, like so much crap that we dealt with. Never once got a raise. I think I was there for like a year. Never once got a raise. And I was promised, they're always like, we evaluate you every so often, right? Every few months. And I was always told I wasn't doing enough. And I was like, you know what? Once my dad started his business and he needed some help, he's like, can you come work? Him and my mom. That is like the best feeling, is going into that office and being like, I quit. I'm gonna go work for my dad. That's where I related. I was like, you plateau in these other kinds of jobs because you're just labor. They just use you and get another kid.
Literally, you're replaceable.
Yeah. So when I started working for my dad, I was a parts runner, a helper. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I remember working on like weekends and early mornings, just in the pickup truck, going to, get any work that we could. My parents brought it up to me because my dad only knows how to work on cooking equipment. So then he's like, I don't want another AC company, refrigeration company in, the kitchen with me. I'd rather take care of everything. So that's where they got the idea that I go to trade school. I went to trade school. I was supposed to go straight into running this business or the AC stuff, right? I had to get my license first. So I got my license immediately. I did have to ride along with somebody technically, but that was a loose type of deal. He signed off on it and I got my license. So yeah, and he did residential. He didn't do what I did. So yeah, I had to be thrown into the fire to run this side of the business right away. Now, we did hire guys to help us or subcontract, and those are like the lead techs that I kind of learned from. I got my tips and tricks and stuff like that here and there with those guys, but like since almost the beginning, I've had to put on that hat. Now, I was very resistant and I didn't want to. I kept saying, I just want to be an employee. I just want to be an employee. I just want to clock out. I was like 20 at the time. I was also going to trade school at the same time. And I was like, I kind of want to go out with my friends and do other stuff. I don't want to run a business. So totally different mindset. That's why anybody nowadays that like has their head on straight and they're, doing great things in this trade, my hats are off to them because my mindset was very different. So yeah, I had to get into it, and that's where I failed a lot and dealt with all this stuff and had to learn kind of quickly to shift to, okay, I'm a business. I have to rely on myself. I got to learn as much as I can. I got to keep up with all these older technicians because I was competing with a lot of them. That's how I started. I kind of got thrown into it.
Yeah. I was also gonna super quick. So I know everybody has like their to-do list when it comes to owning the business. Like obviously get your LLC or get a van, get your contractor license. What would be 3 things on your not to-do list when running a HVAC business or running a business?
Not to do.
Yeah.
Very first that I see common is like, don't go buy a new vehicle. I see that. It's weird. I see it a lot. We worked out of a pickup truck, and then we still, I mean, before we would buy crappier vans, but like now we still buy used. They're just like slightly used because you get them a lot cheaper. So don't buy a new van. Just buy what you can get. And used vans, used equipment. I started with used recovery machines and vacuums and all that. Like we couldn't afford to buy everything new. So those are kind of the things that I tell people first. And then obviously get your experience however you can, whether, you're working with like some great lead tech or you learn after work, get all that into place. And then the money it always goes back to money. Like make sure you have some money put
Yeah.
aside or saved or something. And it's an investment. You're going to struggle. You're going to lose money. You're going to, figure it out. If you have help, if you have mentors, that helps too. And maybe you don't waste money like we did, but my dad didn't know anything about the business side. We were just really good at fixing shit. We just didn't know how to run it. So those were the mistakes that we made. It was on the business side. Everything else was fine. So yeah, having mentors, don't be ashamed to buy used stuff when you start. You can only afford what you can afford. I strongly advise going against getting into debt, right? Quickly, because you're just going to be digging yourself out of that instead of just working and making what you can and kind of living off of that, which is scary because like Jake talked about it. I know some other guys have done it. They start their business or they are forced to start their business and they already have a family. They already have kids, a wife, and that's kind of scary, especially if it's the only income. So just be wise with your money. Try to save it while you're still working somewhere. Try to save some for that because you're going to need. There's fees to open up your business. The license is not cheap, and then you got to renew it every year. So it's like a couple $100 to get it, $100 every year to keep it. Just getting everything into place so that when you start your business, you're not as stressed out as, like, where's my money and where's all that.
Damn, that's actually good. That's really good.
Yeah, when we started,
Yeah.
it was just me and my dad, right? So not too many expenses. And then we try to hire some guys. And I mean, another thing would be networking. So always have help. Like there's no shame in asking for help. So whether you're just asking questions or like you network and they get you work, because we used to do warranty because we knew some guys. So that kind of helped us through like slow times, was doing warranty work. His connections at the hospitals, because they all wanted him to work at these hospitals. They were like, we didn't really care about the company. We wanted you. So now, they gave us that work when we started. So that was really that was really helpful. And I heard that a lot. I think we had a couple other restaurants that did that. It's good to network, good to make friends. That always comes around. And then like later on, we learned, I was trying to help him understand, like, we should also network with other companies and other trades, because now we have like an electrician that we work with and we pass each other work. I have a buddy that does residential here, and sometimes he'll give me commercial work that he doesn't want, and I give him residential work that I don't want, right? And another friend of mine just started his business, which I was annoyed because he was supposed to start working with us, and really good tech, and he got fired and had to start his own business before we were ready. And he's doing really well, but like if he ever needs anything or if I ever need anything, we can kind of help each other out. So it's always good to network.
No, 1,000%. And the networking could also open up doors too, because you never know what that person knows or who that person knows too. Because I know I'm not going to speak for everyone, but some people getting in here, there's different niches in HVAC, like some niches where you're basically the face, not the face of the company, but you're the person that the company sees or the client sees. And you represent the company, or you have the installer that just does their thing and leave. But those little soft skills with talking to people, even asking somebody like what they do and how they got to the point, or advice when you're at the supply shop just waiting, that could go a long way. Because like you said, if you're starting your thing from ground zero and you're trying to work your way up, having that contact list filled with different trades guys helps. Because networking helped me when it came to dang, I don't know if I'm getting in trouble, but when it came to tech support, because I have like personal numbers for technicians that work for like Daikin or work for
Yeah.
this place. But if I didn't open my mouth and talk to these guys when I was at like supply shops, probably would never be able to get that help, because they would give me a little bit of advice over the phone. And I'm like, dang, I didn't think of something that way. Or if I was stuck on a problem, they could definitely help me fix it real quick. So networking is really a big thing. That goes not even just for HVAC, but just globally as well. Like
Yeah.
talk to people, even saying hi, like how they are, how is that person or what they do. Like talking to people helps a lot.
Oh yeah. So how many years have you been doing this now total?
Years total, say 3 years. I finally hit my third year in February. So I've been
Okay.
doing this for 3 years now.
Is that commercial or both sides?
On both sides. So
Okay.
I did residential for 6 months, and then
Yeah.
commercial makes up the rest of that math.
um, so you would say like at your residential, you didn't really, did you learn anything? Did you learn much, or was that too
To
quick?
be honest, I did learn. I learned a lot after looking back at it. Because when I left residential, I think I was like 20 years old. I was barely legal. So I worked from residential around 1920. Because after my birthday, then that's when I was in there. And
Mhm.
then I would say, looking back at it, it did teach me a lot, especially with the basics, how to talk to people, like handling different clients. Because there's some people that are really friendly. There's some people that are like sticklers and don't want you to
Yeah.
touch anything in their house, be near anything in their house. Some people that are flirtatious, some people that are hot-headed and very angry. Help me deal with the whole
There
bunch of
is a
different.
wide
Yeah,
range in residential. That's why I don't know if I would want to do it, but I think it helps also to read the room, right? You gotta
yeah,
understand that everybody's different and the personality wise. And for me, because it's not as many people that we deal with, but it's like there's store managers that we deal with, and then like upper level management. And what I'm trying to teach my guys is like read the room, right? Because if they're, like you said, a stickler, if they're any sort of way, like you got to be a little bit careful, you got to be a little more professional, and maybe you go to some and they're joking, they're friendly, and you got to, just talk more to them and kind of get along with different kinds of people.
exactly. And the basics too, because with the people as well, the basics that helped me transition into commercial, like with learning with split systems. But the more I kept working, or the more I do work in this field, the more I realized like people are the bulk of the work that we do. For AC breaks, nobody would know unless a person calls. So technical skills are easy to be taught over time. Like I'm a hybrid for introvert, extrovert, but I was mostly leaning onto introvert. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to go here, do my job, leave. Like middle finger to whoever else. But I grew out of that
And
mindset. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was talking about when I started. I just wanted to do the work. I used to get complaints from the store managers or whoever was working that day, like call when my dad would talk to them, like, "Hey, I think one of your guys was here, but he didn't say hi. He didn't talk to us. He didn't explain anything." And I'm over here like, this is my younger self. Like, I fixed it, didn't I? Like, I thought that was the whole point of the job,
so
but
people
it's not.
skills definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, my bad.
that's just what, trying to, and my guys have been good about it. There is like, and he is the youngest kid. He's like straight out of high school. He's having a little more difficulty with it, but I understand. And that's where I'm trying to be a little, because my dad is very like strict and gets after them, everything. And I get mad too, but like I look at him and I'm like, I was there. I understand. So I'm giving him a little more time, but obviously his pay is going to reflect what he does. So that's on him if he wants to earn more. But the other guys that we have, one of them came from like a like nursing, and he did more of a
Mm.
manager style thing. So he's very good at explaining and talking, and he has that customer service down, and he's learning quickly because he's looking up videos and learning more afterwards and talking to tech support all the time. Are you on that train of like using Chat GPT or any of those?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I use that almost every day, bro.
Okay, I just want to make
I'm
sure because
sorry
I,
for that.
I didn't I didn't know about
Yeah.
it.
For anybody that's mad at us, I'm sorry, man. The water is being used up, but Chat GPT, AI is in everything. Siri is
It
AI too. So
it is, yeah. anything you buy nowadays has to, and it's always like one of the first thing they promote, like our AI feature, our AI whatever.
Yeah.
So it's in everything. But it was funny because my girlfriend had mentioned to me, because like I only knew of it to like rewrite your stuff or help you with, like something that you wrote out, you wanted to sound more professional.
Exactly. Yes.
And
Yeah.
our CRM Jobber does that too. It's like built in, like, and our guys love it because they just type in whatever, like gibberish, and it spits out something nice, and then they turn the invoice in. So like they use it for that. So I knew it like that. Like whenever I had to write something up or an email, that I could use it. I didn't know that one of my guys was using it, and my dad knew because they were working together, and I stopped by, and he's like, "Hey, are you gonna ask your chat there, what's going on with it?" And he was kind of laughing, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" And he's like, "He uses the chat GPT to troubleshoot." I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So I didn't know too much about
Yeah.
it, and now when I talk to guys, I ask them that question, and everybody says that they use it. I'm like, okay, that's like a thing now, right? Like we mentioned not too long ago, YouTube came into play, right? That's been around for a few
Mhm.
years. Social media now, and now it's Chat GPT or whatever you want to use, like
ChatGPT. And that's ChatGPT is low key, or AI is gonna
yeah.
be our best friend in this field, because with AI, it's gonna be more data centers. With data centers, you gotta cool those
I've heard
down. So
that.
with
Yeah,
those, more jobs, more
I've
jobs.
heard that. I was like, you know what? It's not horrible, right? Because I think we're getting them down here too. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? Somebody has to. It's climate control. Somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I've heard of that. I do think that you still need basic knowledge, because like one of our guys
Mhm.
that uses it hasn't gone through trade school, hasn't got his basics. It's kind of like whatever we can teach him in the field, and I'm not always available, which I'm trying to be better about, because I'm still working. I'm trying maybe to work a little bit less and then maybe go help and train more. So
Yeah.
every now and then I do have to correct him because it'll send him down a rabbit hole sometimes, right? You got to be very specific. You got to feed it, prompt it really well, and then kind of gauge what it's telling you, right? If it's way off or if it's close, and then maybe it helps you figure it out. So I do see the benefit of it, and I do see it a lot with younger guys. There are, I think, some apps now that are coming out that are trade specific. I know Blue On tried it, but I don't know if that ever worked out. And there's another one it's called Field Mind. I don't know if you heard of it. That is trying to
Film? No, I don't think I have.
they're trying to not use the internet as much. They're trying to use like manuals. So if you ask it a question, it tries to pull from manuals only, which I'm like, that's kind of cool, because
Yeah,
it
that's
won't
pretty
give you
cool.
any bad information, right? So it's just the new wave, the new thing, and if it helps, I'm all for it. Like I didn't get mad. I was like, okay, cool. Like you're if you're stuck, at least you
Yeah.
have something to go on.
Yeah, and with AI, like as long as you don't, I use it as like an assistant. I don't use it to like, I don't know how to
Hey, figure
describe it,
this
but
out
just
for
use
me.
it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just use it as an assistant. Use it as a tool to help you get something done or to gain some type of knowledge from it. Don't just, or if, like I said, somebody's gonna be mad that we're wasting water, but I'm wasting the water wisely. I'm asking important
Yeah.
questions on my,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, you're not. There are, because you're on TikTok. Like there are so many AI. There's so much AI content, and I'm like, did we really
yeah.
need to use AI for some of this stuff? So like,
No,
there's
the
a lot of
HVAC
stupid.
AI content.
There's a lot of stupid things out there using AI. We're using it for good. This is just the new form of like, because what we had when I was starting out was technicians
Mhm.
that were always on the phone with like their buddy or their lead tech or whatever, and basically the tech on the phone was the one just telling them what to do and diagnose it, right? And some of those guys would get exposed sometimes because they couldn't do it on their own. They would only be able to do it on the phone, right? With help
Damn.
from somebody. So like
Mm.
this is just the new version of that, but you can't rely on it. Like you do need to know something, right? It's just like that with the guys always calling their buddy to help them out, or now you're always asking Chat GPT. But as long as it's not a crutch and you're using
Yes,
it like
yeah.
to kind of help you if you get stuck, or maybe you didn't know something about that equipment, you're a little more confident in going out to a service call, because you have the basics, which you should know,
Mm.
which gets me out of a bind all the time. But sometimes they're rushing you. I have customers over my shoulder sometimes, and I'm like, kind of need a minute because I got to figure out what I'm
Yeah.
looking at, by trying not to look dumb. Which is another thing that I was going to mention earlier. One of
Mm.
the main driving forces, like when I started, because I didn't have too many guys to rely on, was I just didn't want to look stupid in front of the customers. I would look up, if I knew what I was working on, I would look it up the day before or whatever it was, like the night before. I would stay up,
Mm.
research and find a manual, do all that. My dad had his work ethic. He had this, that's how he learned, just studying all the time. And that's how you kind of build your confidence and, do well in this field, is just, use your resources.
And it's all around us. And again, my generation, Gen Z, we are so blessed. We were literally dropped into the perfect middle ground. We have AI, the phones, the textbooks. We have the best of both worlds. So it's out there. The knowledge is out there. You just got to go find it. Go seek it.
So do you feel, doing commercial now, are you running your own calls and out in the field by yourself?
Yeah. So
Do you
when I
feel
came to this,
do you
yeah,
feel comfortable?
running calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1000%. I prefer running calls over doing installs. If I had to be so honest.
Oh, okay. No, I just asked because I was gonna say, like, when did you feel comfortable? Like, did it take you long? Did you pick it up relatively quickly? How did
To
you
be
kind of
honest, yeah.
learn that?
I had to, okay. So when I first got a truck and I was doing maintenance, people might look at maintenance as a burden, but everything in life is really perspective. When I was doing maintenance at the time, I looked at maintenance as a way to learn this equipment, learn what every part does or how it looks if it fails. Because if you do a good maintenance, you know what looks good. You know how it should run. You know the numbers that it should be amping at. You know how everything should be looking good. Now, if it fails and you're running calls on your own, and at the time when my company was like giving me 1 or 2 service calls to test out, I was doing maintenance for a good amount of time that I was able to identify easily, like, that doesn't look right. Like when I do maintenances, that fan does not run in that direction. It does not suck in my hat. It's supposed to be pushing my hat out. That's weird.
Yeah.
So doing maintenance helped me get more comfortable with learning what things look like when it works and what it doesn't. Also failing a lot. I was scared to fail at a time, but in failures are lessons. So every time I go to a call and I feel stumped, like you said, like I would call the technician in my company, I knew everything. Now, I didn't use him as a crutch. Some people, they will call somebody and be very dependent on this one person.
Yeah.
Every time I get on the phone with my tech support or my coworker, whoever it may be, when they tell me to do something, I try to pay attention to why they're telling me to do something. I try to pay attention to, okay, you said to check this, like the order of operation, check my high voltage first, check power, make sure everything's fine. I see why they're telling me to do that. And going online, watching videos helped a lot because before I was even doing content, I was like a sponge, just trying to get as much knowledge as I can. Like service calls, like right now, I'm cool. I'm good when it comes to it. When I first started doing service calls, I was so nervous. I was scared. I was like, bro, I'm terrified.
Well, there is, I don't know if you follow Refrigeration Man on TikTok, because he just started his own business, but he had this great video that he did, because he always did like jokey videos. So he's like, when you first start working in HVAC, trying to run your own calls, you're like crying and sweating and everything in the van, compared to like when you actually feel comfortable. It's like, I'll take whatever call comes my way, right? So you get that
Literally,
confidence. Yeah. I remember being
reps.
scared.
It's all reps. We were all there. It's just because it's the biggest thing is because you're an apprentice. You are relying on somebody doing all the work, or
Mhm.
you're just scared to like fail. Like, what if it doesn't work? Or you just don't know when you look at the equipment, it's very intimidating. Like, it's super intimidating. You have anything. When you do a service call, it's a big possibility of things. The more you do them, it's just like talking to girls. The more girls you talk to, the less nervous you get. You're gonna still be nervous because maybe you're like, damn, I wonder what it could be this time. But as you get into that process, you get less nervous, you get more confident when you do it. That's what it was for me. It was just repetition, studying, not being scared to be wrong, and just learning from the call and moving forward. When I first did the calls too, I would have like OCD, just thinking about all these different things. Like, dang, I wonder if I really fixed it. I wonder if it's going to still be broken. I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
I just learned from it. I did this, it works, and I just move on to the next one.
So what's your mindset now when you get a call? Like, do you go over anything in your head before you get there, or do you try to keep a blank mind going in?
I'm a little bit of both. So it all depends. If it's my mindset going into a call, the first thing, if it's with property management, then I'll go over like some options in my head. Like if they say it's leaking, I'll probably say, oh, maybe it's frozen, drain line. But if it's somebody that actually calls, like person in the establishment, whether it be a manager, supervisor, employee, my biggest thing is to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I'm a detective. I want to ask them all types of questions, like, hey, when did this happen? How did it happen? How was it? What noise did it make? I try to go through that because they are the key to solving what's going on. Because I wasn't there when it broke. They were there
Yep.
when it broke. They were there when there was a malfunction. So I try to probe this person for as much information as possible before
It's
I
it's
start running a call.
it's very frustrating when they're like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
those are the only ones that are not helpful. But like, yeah, that's something I used to say a lot too, was like, you like, don't overlook that. Like, go and talk to the person that either called it in, or, like in my instance, the cook, right? If they're the ones in the kitchen, ask them, because they're gonna be brutally honest. Like, it
Exactly. Yeah.
was it was working, and then it started doing this and that, it made this noise, and piece of crap this. Like, they'll give you the whole rundown, right? So you do have to be a little bit of a detective, like you said, and it'll all that does is help cut down your time in like trying to figure it out, because you could go straight to, oh, it was making a noise, let me go look at the motor, let me go look at the fan, or
Exactly. Yeah.
whatever it is, right? So you can go straight to that instead of being like, I don't know where to start. So that's always been something I don't think a lot of people talk about, is like going to a call and then trying to talk to them first and get a story on what happened and how it happened. Because I always go that route too. Like, was it working yesterday? When did this start happening? What did you notice? What was, all the questions that can help you narrow down something. So that's a good tip there. But like I said, sometimes they're not helpful, and I'm like, all right, let me just go figure it out. But my mindset is kind of similar. I like to think about, because people say you're going to get yourself in trouble by trying to think about the call ahead of time. I'm like, I just want to kind of refresh myself when I get
No.
there.
Yeah.
Like if they say it's something specific, I'm like, okay, remember to check this, remember to check that. Just make a little list for yourself, and then when you get there, it might be what you thought, or it might be something completely different, and you got to go and, like you said, investigate. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it too.
But no, that helps too. Cause like I said, I only do it when, okay, if there's nobody there to talk to, then I'll just do the little list. Cause the thing is, that list helps. Cause like, okay, in this situation, we say it's a water leak. It could be iced up, could be a drain line. So instead of you going there and checking every single thing, you're checking power, you're checking this, you're checking that, you're checking that. That little list in your head when you thought, or whatever you thought it may be, you just run through that quick list and you could be out of there in like 30 minutes instead of spending 2 hours starting from scratch.
And then, that's how you reach super tech status, right?
Yeah, yeah. Top tech. Top
There you go.
tech.
Was there any like memorable or like tough calls that you've had to endure in your short career starting out?
Yes, bro. There's way too much to count. When I tell you I failed so many times, like I don't want people to come in here thinking that you're not gonna fail. You have to be very comfortable to fail out here, bro. Like this is like failure ground when you first learn. Cause service calls, like I said, I was very scared starting off. And because I was doing commercial, it's a whole different beast. It's more moving parts and everything. So there were times that I've spent, and I love my company because they gave me the grace for this. Obviously, I don't do this anymore, but there's been times where I spent like 5 hours on one call,
Yeah.
and it was because of like lack of knowledge. But I didn't take it as, dang, I spent 5 hours on it and beat myself up about it. I'm like, okay, what could I have done to make my process a lot better? The homework helps. The homework helps a lot because there was one specific call, low voltage shorts for sure. That made my process better because low voltage shorts are one call that I'll say out of all the things that made me like may want to give up on this thing, low voltage shorts definitely make me wanted to give up. But that helped me get better over time. Low voltage shorts for sure. Out of everything, low voltage shorts are the one call that makes me just want to
Yeah,
just want to
like
get out of here.
even more so for myself, because my dad wasn't electrician before, so I would always ask him like, how do you check this, how do you do that on the electrical side, because that is what threw me off the most when I started,
Mm.
was dealing with tracing wires and tracing where the voltage goes, and low voltage versus like high voltage side, right? You got two different sides. And then shorts, right? They could be anywhere. They could be in the contactor coil, it could be a rub out, it could be anything, and you got to
Yeah,
spend some time there to figure it out.
yeah,
Electrical has always been my hardest part. in doing this trade, but if you take your time, I've definitely had those days. And that's what I always say is like, yo, the only thing you can work on is just being better every call every day. That way you do get quicker. You are that technician that your company wants you to be, where they can send you on anything and you can get things done and you can make the money that you want to. So, that's a big thing for us. And, my dad's like, cause then I'll have to go help them. And he's like, well, why couldn't they figure it out? I'm like, they're year 1 or year 2. I'm year 19. I
Yeah.
was like, you can't do that. So
Yeah.
you gotta learn from mistakes. I'm letting them make mistakes. You gotta let them do it. You gotta let them get their hands on it and just give them a little bit of guidance or tips and then let them do it.
No, 1,000%. And I'm glad you actually done that, because you're the generation before, they're kind of more harsher on the techs nowadays. I'll say like the management now, there's like more your generation moving towards like Gen Z around there. It's like more softer on technicians because more understanding, because not everybody's gonna be starting at top tech status. There's some people that it might take some time for them to get it, but once they get it, they're gonna just keep improving and keep going and eventually be like out of
There-
here. Like
There's a
shout
couple
out here.
different there's a couple of different ways to learn, right? Like obviously you make mistakes, you learn from that and somebody trains you and teaches you what to do. But like I just remember, being thrown into like hospital work or, that we used to have cuz I think we had a lot of success when we started that was like good and bad, but we had like IHOPs and Denny's and like bigger restaurants. That was a lot of pressure to fix these things, right? And they would call you at all hours because they were open 24 hours and they had so many issues that they needed fixed right then and there. So I also remember stressing out, crashing out, right? Like all these things because I was like, I don't know what to do. And it would just take me all day, 2 days, callbacks, whatever it was. And I'm like, nowadays, I'm hiring people to help me out because I just have too many calls to run myself. Why do I want them stressing out? So we try to guide them and train them the best we can. And I always tell them, just be professional, be nice to the customer. If you have any issues, we will go handle that, right? Like I just want the guys to be the least amount of stress as they can have so they can just focus on their job, right? So
Yes, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, like I do always go back to when I started and how difficult it was because I learned from the generation before me, which was a lot harder on us and just there's so much competition and so much insecurities. I want to say like they didn't want you doing what they did. They were like, you figure it out. So very different. And I just don't want that, for the employees that we have, like just help us out. We have more calls. We need more help and we can help you out there. Are you a man? Are you analog or digital?
I'm too used to analog. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh,
Digital.
you
Okay, so I
are?
have these digital. Yeah, I have these digital. So Gen Z love the old school stuff. Man. No, so I tried the digital gauges, but I'm just so like superstitious with them that every time like I hook up digital gauges, I just grab my analog pair and said, "That's not right. I don't believe you. You're a liar." So I don't. It's analog.
Yeah.
It's more comfortable to me. I don't know. It's just something about analog. I don't know. Everybody's personal preference, but
So
analog is my way to go.
yeah, so I have both right now, but people make a point, and it is true. Like digital, you got to make sure that they're working properly, they're charged, or they have batteries, and then they're not as quick. Because sometimes, like lately, I've had issues where the system is like tripping out on high head pressure or something crazy, right? Where it like is only running for a few seconds and then turns off, and I'm like, my digital didn't catch what it was, right? I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out something, and when you see the needle you can see where it actually is at. It's real time. So I get it. I just surprised. Are you looking into probes or
Yeah.
anything, or are you just gonna ride out with the
Um,
analog?
I'm looking into getting a digital set, but I'm not plugging it. But I'm just saying I've been using UEI's digital probes, and I'm gonna try to invest into some more digital gauges, digital micron reader, because it's gonna be a lot more convenient with me because I move around a lot. So just
Yeah,
having that Bluetooth on hand to just monitor whatever the pressures are while I work on another unit, because sometimes I have to diagnose 2 units at the same time on a roof. So having digital will be a lot better because I don't want to turn my back on my analog gauge and everything was fine. As soon as I turn my back, pressures are like super crazy and I don't catch that. And I go back and it's like, dang, I don't know what happened. So digital is
yeah,
definitely something I'm leaning more into now.
yeah. It's helpful. So I have probes and I have like wireless micron gauges. Like I've been trying to go to wireless, and it's nice when you can set it, go to the van or take a break, not too far from the unit, and you can just kind of keep an eye on it. So that's always the benefit of that. What service bag are you rocking?
Service bag, Vito Pro Pack all the way. Vito Pro Pack. I love Vito.
See, we like that
Vito's
because that is a sponsor of the show.
yeah. I love Vito. Vito, please. Hey man, please. I just need one.
Be
Just one. That's all
we
I
can
need.
we can have Vito featured in one of the new music videos.
Yeah, let's do it. We just have a whole bunch of bags. Just fill them with money. Just
What oh, that would be a great scene. Which one do you use for service?
the MB, the blackout, but I don't remember which one. I think it's the
The
MB3, but I don't remember
MB3
which one.
blackout. I actually helped design that one.
No way.
So the
What? That's
how
tough.
are you using the sling on it?
Yeah, the sling. That's the one with the
Yeah.
reversible sling. You can put it on the right shoulder or the left
I've
shoulder,
been
I believe.
I've been telling them for years to do that, and they finally had one in production or prototype, and that's the one that I got to help with. So I added like the buckle to it because before it was just kind of like over your head, and I was
Mm.
like, that's not gonna work. So we did the buckle. We made a few changes to it, and we finally have what I've been asking for is a sling service bag because I'm like, that's really great for the guys that have to climb ladders and get on roofs, and maybe they don't need a whole bunch of tools, but they can
Damn.
stuff that thing out.
Perfect example. Hey, companies, you got to listen to technicians. We're the ones using the product. Remember that.
Some companies don't like the honest opinions, so
Yeah.
I've talked to quite a few of them just because I'm like, well, I wouldn't do it this way. I would prefer it this other way. But it's like, we use them out in the field. We can let you know exactly, what's good or bad about them. So I do appreciate the companies that do listen. I've been talking to a few of them right now about some issues I've had with their products, and they're actually going to fix them. So that's always good to hear.
Thanks to you though, my shoulders could get like a break too, because the old Vitos, you only like you're set with one shoulder and it's like messed up. And I could like switch the pain. Thanks to you, bro. I could
Yeah,
switch
yeah,
the
yeah.
pain. I could
No,
share.
I love that bag because I used an MB3 forever and an MB2 also, but I had outgrown it, so I went to the MB3, and I used to make my own kind of sling with it. It was just never, it wasn't great. And yeah, the MB3 Blackout, that's a great bag. Every bag for any scenario or any kind of technician now.
Top tier. I love Vito. Vito's. I'll never switch up on Vito.
Okay, so we've been here a little over an hour. I don't want to keep you too long. What would you tell some of the technicians that are starting out right now? Because you have this unique story of investing in yourself. You made a big move. What was the reason for moving to Florida?
Florida, one, to be honest, price, because that's why
Yeah.
everybody moves away from their hometown because it does get expensive. But the next thing was opportunity because I was already, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what it is. I don't know whatever anybody believes in, whether it's some higher power, whatever God you do, but I feel like it's just some type of higher intervention that kind of just stirred me to go here because a lot of things happen in my life. I was like, what the heck is going on, bro? But then after looking
Everything
back at it,
everything happens for a reason, man. I'm in the same boat.
yeah, seriously. So when I look back on it, I'm like, I think I was supposed to be guided here because after being guided here, my life has done a 180. Everything's like getting better slowly but surely. It's like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Anybody in school, just my biggest advice for them: don't put your expectations too high because some people have it like really high. Think you're gonna make $100 an hour. Remember, your knowledge is gonna make you that money. My mom always says that hunger never knocks on a tradesman door. So the more knowledge that you have, the more money you will make. Second thing is invest in yourself. Me personally, I started to see that after like years of not really understanding what it truly meant, but really investing in yourself is to get the things that will make your life easier or that will also profit you. You put money into something or you put energy into something, it's going to give you a return back on it. So whether that be tools, don't look at tools as a waste of money. Look at tools as an investment. It's supposed to make your job easier. It's supposed to make you money. Investing in knowledge, whether it be instead of you going to sleep at 10 p.m., you use whatever energy you have and go to bed at maybe 11 p.m. Take that hour to go study, invest that energy into studying. And then another thing I'll say is do not be scared to fail. You're going to come out here. You're going to fail a lot. You're going to try things and some things are not going to go your way, but just stick through it. Stick through it. Give it a year. give anything that's like new, just try for a year. Don't like try for a month, a couple months. Cause when I first started content, I was just trying stuff, bro. I was just doing whatever I could, but just try things. It'll work
How long
out.
did you start? How long ago did you start content?
Content. I started in December 2024. So
Okay.
I think it's a year and a half now, but like consistency for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's what like got to here, got to this point.
See, and I meant to ask that before, but do you have any other hobbies besides, or do you have any other hobbies when you are not doing work, HVAC related stuff?
Yeah. Draw, make music, game, travel, cook, fitness, like working out,
Hmm.
swimming. Just, yeah, I'm boring, bro. I'm a boring guy. It's
No,
just like,
and I just ask because like you don't have to live and breathe like your work, right? You should
no,
have
no.
a life outside of work and work on yourself as a person, as a human, and keep that sanity because work can be nuts. It can drive you crazy, but you got to have something else outside of it. So like for you, like, and I asked because I was wondering if music was a thing because
Yeah.
I have to come back to what I had found you was, or why I found you was your music. I'll see if I can post anything or with this, maybe as a clip or something. You have these HVAC songs, which are not just like for entertainment. Like I get entertainment from them, but you actually explain things and you have correct like procedures or the parts of the refrigeration cycle and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the thing now because I know other people that have started doing like children books, right? And those have been really
Mm.
cool. But maybe we can learn through music now with the kind of stuff that you're putting out there.
That's the thing. So it all goes, like I said, it all goes back to I try to put my life inside of the content too, but it all goes back to that. There's kids in school that the textbooks are boring. It's just a whole bunch of word vomit. The teacher or the professor is just yapping, yapping. So words go through one ear and out the other. Now I've been making music since I was like since I could walk basically. So the thing is, with the music ability, you ever hear like the terms is like talent in the hand of a gesture? Like somebody has talent, but they use it for stupid things, like whatever it may be. But I took it and I'm like, there's a lot of people asking questions of how to do this, how to do this. I don't understand this. But the one thing with song is melody is literally life. When I talk, while we're talking, we're not singing, but our words are just dragging. We're communicating with each other through sound. So with music, I'm like, okay, I know how to make a song. I know I can make a song about anything. I know I do HVAC. I understand it pretty well. Let me just put both of these things together. And the refrigeration cycle song, everything you guys see right now, all the songs, I made them in like 2 days. I,
Okay.
I wrote all of them in like 2 days. And at first I'm like, I don't know about this. This is kind of nerdy. This is a little nerdy. I don't know. I kind of like this. So when I put it out, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let it go in the world. It doesn't matter. Cause at this point, I was overthinking posting stuff. I'm like, okay, let me just put it out. And then my phone started, I was working and then my phone just started blowing up. I was like, bro, what's going on? What's
Yeah.
happening? I looked at it and I'm like, what the heck? People actually like this? What the heck?
That's awesome, dude.
So,
And I
yeah.
knew you had to have been in the music as a hobby or as something that you took seriously because it just sounded that good. Like I'll be honest, like
I
the
appreciate it, bro.
the melody, the wordplay. I know some of them are based off of like popular songs, but like the wordplay, the melody, the way you put that thing together, those songs together, and I was like, dude, like I don't know, like I was like, I don't know how you made a whole song about refrigeration and made it work. And then you made a few. How many songs do you have out right now?
I think around 12 or
Oh
15,
shit.
but I am planning to make an actual, if you want to call it mixtape or EP.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to release one this summer, like of songs for guys like us in the field, like
Dude,
actual songs. And I'll,
it's
yeah,
so it's so fun and awesome. I would love to see that. I know some guys, I think I made that comment too, but I know some guys have asked you like where is this available or are you putting it out?
yeah, I will. I'm working on that. I'm working on putting, okay, so the ones that are remixes, I can't
Yeah.
because those are remixes, so I can't really do those. But the refrigeration cycle one, all the original ones, those are going to be on platforms by this summer. So we're going to get all of that up. I'm working with the producers to make sure that we handle stuff on that side and just put it out so that it's able to be streamed online. Everybody could like listen to it. If you're in the car on the way to try to pass your EPA exam. You can like listen to it and say the lyrics.
Dude, dude, if
And
you
yeah,
could, because I probably haven't heard all of them, but like just based off the ones that I have heard, like if you do it and you could actually cater to certain things, like you said, like the EPA or EPA exam, or like certain little things that somebody needs to know, and then you make a song that they can just like listen to or remember when they run into that or they're going to do that. I don't know. It's different. It's new. I've never seen it before, so that could be a thing that you could do, man. I don't know. I think it's cool.
thank you, bro. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Trust. I got us. I got this niche. This niche is gonna go
I
up.
was gonna say
It's
you
only up
got
from
it.
here.
Because there are people that do these kinds of things, right? Like funny songs and stuff like that. But that's all they are, is like funny songs. They don't sound good. They one hit, like you listen to it once and you're like, oh, whatever. This is actually, it's correct in the manner like of, it's a refrigeration cycle. It's how to check this, how to check that, whatever else that you want to do. It'll help somebody. I think it'll
Yeah.
really help the new guys, because like you said, and I'm dealing with it right now. I have a 12-year-old. In one ear, out the other. He's actually music musically gifted, I guess would be the
Yes.
description. So
Invest in that, bro.
he's picking up guitar. He's a really good singer. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, ever since
Thanks.
he was little, I was like, dude, like it's nice hearing him, when he sings or plays guitar. But he's like that. He has trouble with certain things and learning and taking boring information in, but he's really good with other stuff like music and these little hobbies. He draws. He's really good at drawing too. Like right now he's going to middle school, so I'm trying to get him to pick. He's trying to pick like theater arts, and he wants to do choir, and I'm also seeing if he can fit in like maybe something with arts, drawing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I'm trying to guide him into like stuff that he's good at. That's just how kids learn. They learn some things better than, other ways. And that's one way.
No, 1,000%, bro. And that's honestly, keep pushing him. He's gonna retire you from this field. His art is gonna just go crazy.
Yeah. I tell my girlfriend and stuff, I was like, they don't have to do what I do. They just need to be better than I am, right? So if they can do something better, I'm all for it. If they want to work for me, I'm all for it. It's just they should be better than me. That's all I want.
1,000%.
I can't wait to see that. If you have that, music this summer, I'll be sure to like link what I can so people can kind of see that, and maybe I'll share a clip when I am going to post this on YouTube.
Yeah,
because I think that's really good. Like the music and
bro. Thank you, bro.
and tapping into the younger generation. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? But yeah, man, I appreciate you and what you do, and love following your social media and kind of seeing what you got going on.
Appreciate it, bro. And one more thing, bro. You and probably like I say, like you and two other people made me do the like actually say, all right, you know what? Let me not make any more excuses. Let me just start YouTube, because I think I talked to you over DMs and you told me, yeah, bro, I don't use much, but the meta, you just record with your metas. I'm like, huh? I'm using the metas for all these POV shots, and I could just use it to just record YouTube videos. And that made me like, all right, let me stop making excuses. And that's when I started YouTube, and I'm going to stay consistent as I am with the other platforms. But yeah, you definitely inspired me to do YouTube, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, you definitely were one of them.
I appreciate that. But what people don't understand is sometimes you have different audiences, right? So once you go into YouTube and you can kind of be consistent and get some views and get some follows and all that, like that's a different audience. Like they might not have seen you on other platforms. And I never understood that at first. I was like, why don't you follow me on all of them, right? But I have people that are on YouTube that don't have social media, and I have people that are on TikTok or whatever that don't like to watch YouTube, right? So there's different audiences. So if you go over there, I mean, you're tapping into a whole different audience, and there's a lot of young kids out there too. So I'm sure your content will do very well over there. If you can do the shorts and you can do the long form.
No, 1,000%, bro. But thank you, bro. Thank you for having me here. I was grateful to be here. You're literally the first interview of my career. So we staple.
I meant to ask that when we started. I was like, have you ever done one of these?
No,
I'm sure.
Bro. I've never done one.
I'm sure you'll have plenty more after this. There's a few podcasts out there. I think we were talking about them before, but I enjoyed the conversation, your story, and kind of like talking about like the next generation and all that. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, bro. I'm grateful to be here. God bless you. And it's a wrap. We did it, sir.
And everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.